The auto show returned to Detroit with a new date, a new format, and a whole new look.
It really was very different. There was stuff to do outside, but the real question now is, was it a hit with all of the Metro Detroiters? Rob Maloney live at Huntington Place tonight, and organizers are kind of staying quiet about attendance this year.
Well, and then there may be a couple of reasons for that, Karen. And, you know, as we get past an auto show like this, traditionally, we've waited for them to put out their numbers, crowing about 700, 800,000 people coming downtown. But this year that didn't happen, and mainly it's because it's a wholly different show. They had to rebuild the thing from scratch. And so now, co-chair Thad Zott is saying, hey, we still had a really good auto show.
We do know there was hundreds of thousands of people down there. That's a definite. How many hundreds of thousands, we don't really know because, you know, when we set up the outdoor portion of the show, it was immeasurable, right? It was free to the community, and people were coming and going for those 2 weeks.
The way Zott tells it, it wasn't that they're somehow hiding numbers. They simply don't know them. So he's relying on things like the trips around the Stellantis ride and drive, 45,000, he says. Ford isn't giving specific numbers, but tells Local 4 they far exceeded expectations at their Bronco ride and drive. Zott also says the DADA estimates the downtown Detroit economic impact at about $300 million. Claude Molinari is the Detroit Convention and Visitors Bureau CEO.
It would be unfair to treat the auto show against the backdrop of what it was prior to the pandemic.
Mainly because they had to reboot the show after 3 years of absence. He says the auto show competed with several other big area events over the 2 weeks it ran, but the city saw a lot of good economic activity jumping out at them.
We saw a 34% increase in the hotel room occupancy the press preview week versus the prior week. And then during the public week, it was down to only 23%. But again, that's still strong numbers.
I think we need to do a better job next year of making sure with the new venue of indoor, outdoor, family passes, that we do a better job of counting heads.
Now, one of the things that Thad Zott told me was that he's been getting phone calls from some of the original equipment manufacturers, car makers, who were not at the show and had opted out. He says they have regrets, especially when the president spent 5 hours on the show floor getting national and international headlines. And so he says he thinks that they're going to have more for next year's show, which they say is going to happen. Back to you.
And do we know exactly when that is?
Well, they're saying September 13th through the 24th. They booked the dates here at the Huntington Place. I can remember which name.
You know, you reported too long in the city.
The 13th through the 24th.
All right, September 13th to 24th. We appreciate it. Thank you, Rod.